with Doug Smith from the Toronto Star for you.
Adrian,
you
how
doing,
are you,
Doug?
sir?
Doing great. How are you?
Not bad. Good to see you. Been a long time.
Yeah.
Hey, what has the presence of Cam and Freddie Gillespie allowed you to do defensively? They're much more mobile and bigger, but still quick. How has it made it different and maybe easier for you guys to defend?
Well, I think defensively it's giving us some rim protection, some presence at the rim, rebounding. Rebounding was definitely an issue at times. We were just a much smaller team out there. We were playing Chris at the 5, which he was giving up probably 40, 50 pounds every night, trying to battle with guys that are much more physical than he was at the time. So we kind of put Chris in a tough position there, trying to defend off those bigger centers. So with the addition of Cam and Freddie, really has helped us stabilize ourselves in the paint. And they're very good mobile bigs that can get out and move their feet in pick and rolls and traps. And so I think it's helped us tremendously. We started Pascal at the 5 at times, and now we're able to move him and OG kind of back to the 3 and 4. And so it allows us, even on the offensive end, where teams have to really be honest. We keep teams honest playing us because now we got some bigs at the rim that can get on the offensive glass. So they've been a tremendous addition to our team.
Has it allowed you to change schemes very much? And are they quick learners in that regard?
They're very good learners, but I would think, at first we have to start with the basics, just getting them acclimated to the way we defend our basic pick and rolls and just be really good at that and just not try to overwhelm them in the beginning. And today we worked on some different coverages actually, and they've been picking it up fairly quick. I think they're very versatile. I think we're going to probably look at some switching down the line, maybe 1 through 5. And I think it's fun to have bigs. The last time we really had bigs when we had Mark and Serge. So having those two guys out there as a defensive-minded coach, I'm licking my chops.
Thanks very much, Adrian. Appreciate it as always.
Yeah.
Next question for you goes to Michael Grange from Sportsnet.
Hey, Adrian. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. How you doing, Michael?
I'm very well. I hope all is good with you and your family.
Thank you. It's doing well.
Good. When you look at the amount of playing time that people who are on your second unit now got while everyone was out, how do you think that could benefit you now that you are healthy? And, do you feel like you're a deeper team than you were at any other point this year?
Oh, absolutely. You never know when you're going to need these guys. You never know. It's a long season, and it's tough to give them when everyone's healthy. It's just tough to give everyone the minutes that they need to develop. So that stretch where we had guys out was very instrumental for these young guys, and they were getting minutes and experience that they probably wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So it's good to see how they're coming along. I think Yuta been very impressive. We're trying to get Gary acclimated to the way we want to play. Malachi, what treated for Malachi, if you're a point guard and you have Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry on your team, and you get to learn from those guys and kind of mimic what they do out there on the floor. So, it's been a really good stretch. You always try to find the positives when you're going through any kind of adversity, and having our main guys out was tough, but I thought that our bench really stepped up and they were able to get some really quality minutes that they probably wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
Appreciate it, Griff. Have a good evening.
Yeah.
Next question goes to Aaron Rose from SI.com.
Hey, Adrian.
Hey, how you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Doing great.
Good to hear. We just talked about the new bigs on the defensive end, and I'll ask you to flip it over to the offensive side. How do you feel like they're impacting the game in terms of their pick and roll? Sometimes I feel like they don't even touch the ball, but you can see they're spacing the floor for other guys. There should be a stat for that.
For sure. And they also put pressure on the rim. You know, they're good, very good screeners. So impressed with Freddie, um, his ability to really screen and get out of screening and roll hard to the front of the rim. It forces the defense to collapse. And then they also know how to maneuver and work themselves in position for the offensive board. So, you know, sometimes those things don't show up in the box scores, but doing the fundamental things of screening and sprinting the screen and sprinting out of screens and, you know, repicks and spacing the floor in the dunker spot at times, playing next action basketball. I think they're doing a really good job of just transferring the ball to the other side of the floor and just keeping the offensive, you know, continuity going. So they're learning, you know, and a lot of these guys, you know, they come from different programs. So, you know, we got to get them acclimated how we want to play on the offensive end. But I think they're doing a terrific job so far.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Final question for you, Coach, is going to Cassidy Hubbarth from ESPN.
How you doing, Cassidy?
I'm great. How are you?
Great, thank you.
So, you know, obviously you've seen a lot, you know, as a player and an assistant, but how would you categorize just the challenges, not just obviously on your team, but what this season in particular has presented as we're, you know, 15 or so games away from the playoffs?
You know, I've been a part of, you know, the NBA for 22, 23 years. And I would say this is probably the most challenging in the sense because there was a lot of factors, you know, that you had to deal with outside of, you know, basketball. There were, you know, COVID, there were injuries, there were trades, there was the move to Tampa from Toronto. So, you know, but what doesn't break you makes you. And I think that we've handled it with class. I think it's a first class organization, very resilient. And you're going to have to go through some things, you know, in life in general. And I think the way that we responded to, especially the players, I think it really speaks high value to their character. Not once have I heard our players murmur and complain about just everything that they're going through. And you always got two, you know, ways to go to look at it. You know, adversity, you can see, you know, as a threat, or you can see it as an opportunity. And, you know, even when our main guys out, you know, there was an opportunity to get guys better. And, you know, when half our coaching staff was out, it was able, you know, the other guys on the staff were able to get some quality coaching experience that they probably wouldn't have gotten. So there's always a silver lining, you know, and there's always some, you know, something at the end of the rainbow. It's just it just determines how you want to look at it. So, you know, you got to remain optimistic, you know, about the future and control what you can control. A lot of these things were out of our control, but again, I thought we handled it very well.
I mean, obviously we know the challenge of not having practices really this year has just been, you know, weighing heavy on a lot of teams, but your job in particular, like what has been the hardest thing about executing in this tight of a schedule?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's an excellent question. I think just the repetition, the reps at it, you know, like any fundamental, you know, fundamentals when it comes to basketball, you could build them and you can lose them fast. You know, and to be a really good defensive team, you got to put a lot of effort and attention and the teaching that goes into that end. You just can't say, hey, we got to play harder. You know, we got to play better defense. You really got to teach the fundamentals of the game and the defensive schemes that we like to do. Sometimes those take time, especially when you have a new team. You know, the nucleus of your team could be, you know, it's a mixture of veterans and a lot of younger guys. So you got to kind of find that balance. You know, you're trying to preach to your veteran guys not to get bored with the process, and then you're trying to teach the younger guys how to focus on, you know, the little things that go into winning, all the little details, because they add up. So again, it was a challenge, but again, it was fun trying to figure out ways to get over the hump and try to be as productive as possible. But you know, you get creative. I thought Coach Nurse has made a phenomenal job as always. but I thought he was very creative in ways that we needed to, even if it was through through film or, a pregame, walkthroughs or whatever it was. Coach Nurse kind of, made it a point to maximize that time, the teaching time and the quality of it. Sometimes the quantity goes down, but the quality of your coaching can never be compromised.